Good evening. The Town of Southborough Tricentennial Committee is now in session. It's Monday, August 26th at 6:37 p.m. We're in the Public Safety Complex building on Corderville Road. First item on the agenda is a guest who was requested to speak to us, Keen Southard, Tricentennial Musical Entertainment, virtual discussion. So we will turn it over to Keen.
Disappeared.
Yeah.
I think it's
Okay. Hi everyone.
Hi,
Hi, Keen.
Keen.
I know I connected with Ginny before, and also I think maybe Vanessa at some point before that too. I approached Ginny, with this idea. I grew up in Southborough. I believe I lived there from 1989 when I was just a toddler until 2004 on Lover's Lane. And I have since gone on to I went through the public schools in Southborough and especially took advantage of the music programs and went into a career in music and classical music. Now I'm a professional composer and pianist, and I have a lot of other musical hats as well. I live now in Brattleboro, Vermont at the moment, but I think I've had this idea. I think I thought of it maybe over a decade ago and thinking, oh yeah, the 300-year anniversary of the founding of Southborough. Wouldn't it be cool to write a piece of music, celebrating the history of Southborough? And especially that was also around the time I read the book Fences of Stone by Richard Noble, which is and I found it really fascinating. It's sort of a history of our country through the history of our town. And so when I found out that this committee had been formed for the celebrations, I thought I wanted to share this idea with you. And I think, in some ways it's very kind of open-ended as to what it could be. But I could imagine it be something, culminating in a concert, of course, of an original work that I compose about the history of Southborough and involving performers and participants from the town, or at least from the surrounding area if we needed to as well. And I could imagine it being something big, like an hour-long, full concert of just this one, large work. It could be, I think it would definitely make sense to have it with singers, with like a chorus, and this could be something where using an established local choir, someone like the Assabet Valley Master Singers, who Bob Eaton runs, who I know him. He was my choral director at Algonquin when I was a student there, and they have actually performed a short piece of mine a couple of years ago. Or it could be something where we open it up to people of the town, and have sort of like whoever wants to sing in the choir, make a sort of group for just the occasion. And maybe instrumentalists, maybe even up to like, an orchestra or something like that. And have text be, some sort of reflection and or maybe even a kind of condensed kind of history of Southborough in some way. Maybe drawing on the Noble book, or maybe involving poets from the town or have connections to the town, or writers, or maybe involving maybe the school, bands or orchestra, something like that, something that really gets a lot of the community involved in it, and I think would be great, because music is a great way to, I mean, it's a collaborative medium by nature, right? As a composer, I can write music, but it doesn't come to life unless performers, come together and bring it to life. So I think it would be a great way to do that. And especially alongside, I mean, I don't know what the other events you guys are talking about and considering, but I think having a musical event would be like this would be, a great thing to have. Yeah.
Can I say something?
Sure.
Thank you so much, Keen. You have grown up since I saw you last. You went to school with my daughter. Did you graduate from Algonquin
I did, yep.
2005?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
we were in the same grade. I remember it with Kelly, yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. This is incredible. But one of the things I wanted to mention, because you kind of alluded to it, is we are looking at the possibility of a drone or a light show that could be customized to a piece of music. And the show could be customized to the history of Southborough. So I can't imagine anything more exciting than having some kind of laser or drone show synchronized to a custom piece.
Yeah, that would be that's an interesting idea. I think one potential thing to figure out with that would be if it's a live performance, there is, well, I mean, they do this with, I think there's ways to figure it out with, like, in terms of timing to make sure things line up, right? Because in a typical performance, it might, take a few seconds here, and if you have things that are lining up by the second, it would be trickier to align it up. But there are, for instance, I've seen, orchestras that play along, a soundtrack to the actual film. And so there's ways to synchronize that to make it all line up. But I think it is
a lot more
trickier.
a lot more opportunity digitally than like fireworks and stuff. So could be great. But we're really excited about this potential partnership.
Keen, I'm Don Morris. I grew up on Main Street and I live on Deerfoot, not far from Lover's Lane. So at the time that we were living there, we were neighbors. So this committee has done a lot of research into other town celebrations. And I'll listen to somebody that has found, I have not heard of any town having a musical
Custom.
geared toward their 300th. So this would be really unique, and I don't think you're going to get any pushback. So, and it's still early. Are you looking for this committee to say go for it?
Well, I think there's more. I think right now, just sort of starting this discussion and trying to think more, narrow down what it would actually look like, and in terms of the feasibility, because it would be potentially a lot of different collaborators and people to bring it to life, right? So I mean, from my angle, right, it would be the composition, the composing of the work, which would be mostly on my own, but if I'm collaborating with writers and poets in terms of the text that we're using and things like that, that would be the sort of first stage, right, in terms of creating the work. But then there's the bringing it to life, which would bring in a lot more of the, if it's going to be a lot of performers and instrumentalists and chorus and everything like that. But I think trying to figure out, what from your angle, what might be possible and feasible, or what ideas you have. I mean, this idea for the drones and light show. I mean, that's if that's like a really exciting idea and we want to make it all fit with that. I mean, that's something that maybe could be done. That part would be figured out by whoever does the
Right.
fitting that to the composition, right? In terms of the length and stuff like that. But yeah, and then another thing, of course, would be funding, and all the issues with that, funding of the creation of it, funding of the performance, if we're hiring performers, or if we're using some sort of community group that's volunteering, or
I was
lots
gonna
of things
ask-
to think of. I think.
I was gonna ask that.
And the venue, of course, where it would be performed, and things like that too.
Do you need a producer, a director that puts all these pieces together? I mean, who does that? I'm trying to get a handle on what are the logistics involved to putting it all together with multiple choruses or instrumentalists or whatever, and what would be the cost breakdown for the different parts of that?
Yeah. Well, in terms of, I think, as I said, in terms of the performance, I think that depends on who the collaborators are, right? As I said, if it's a school, if it's the Algonquin, wind ensemble, then probably the students would be, donating their time, or it's part of their, class and everything like that, right? Whereas if it's like hiring, local professional instrumentalists and musicians, or I think there's a lot of factors on that side. And then for the creation, it depends a lot on how big a scope are we looking at. Is this going to be 30 minutes or 45 minutes, or because that makes from on my end much more, the cost go up, the bigger the piece is, and the bigger the ensemble is, that becomes much more work. But in terms of who is organizing those things, I mean, it could certainly be me to an extent, and then in collaboration with whatever leaders of the musical ensemble or ensembles, I think, probably. And maybe someone else.
This is Jim. One thing I was going to point out, kind of as to balance this, is that what we've seen in the drone shows, which is part of the exciting concept, is they are typically 10 to 15 minutes long. They're not an hour.
Yeah.
So we'd have to be figuring out, are we going to go for a long drone show that is more lined up with a more significant production, or is this really targeted for the drone show in a fairly a shorter event to fit in that budget? So that's something we can discuss. But in terms of the direct impact on the cost, it's very real one way or the other.
Yeah, and I think it wouldn't necessarily have to be, drone show for out the whole concert necessarily, right? It could be the 10 minutes, the last movement at the end, or something like that. And also, if there is a drone show, that's another thought, is with the venue, if we're in, the Trottier Auditorium or something, that's, I don't think you can do a drone show inside it, right? It would have to be an outdoor venue.
So what
And
if you
then
did
thinking
this?
about, all of those,
What is-
weather and things. Yeah.
What if you did it as a two-parter? That, like, for example, at the gala or something, the actual original score was presented with musicians and the chorus, whatever, and recorded. And then that recording is given to the people that create the drone show as part of the drone
Be
show. Like
amazing.
maybe the finale, like they do 4th of July on the, Esplanade.
With the fireworks, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, this conversation has seemed to latch itself onto the drone show. And when I first heard about you proposing this, to me, it's wide open. You can latch it onto the drone show, a laser show, or you could have it in a Trottier theater and have it more of an orchestra production. So the way I'm looking at this at this point in our meeting tonight is to have these ideas, but also keep it wide open. And and of course, we're interested, of course, in entertainment and having a great celebration, but we're also interested in the costs. So would you be performing your work for free for the town, or would you be charging the town?
I as a professional, I don't think I can, especially something this, I'm thinking this big. Yeah, I don't think I can do this for free. But again, in terms of how much that would cost, I'd have to think about that in terms of if we narrow down more specifically in terms of, how many musicians, how big an ensembles, are we thinking about? And then also length as well. Those are the two main factors from my end. But in terms of, I think I'd have to get back to you on that if we can narrow that down.
We just have to know from a fundraising standpoint, what the budget might be, so we can determine if we can allocate. We could be dramatically, apart, or we could find something that works, what is a win-win for our budget and what you would need.
Is it possible for you to put together just, one or two scenarios based on, here's kind of the lower end thing with, 20 minutes or half hour or whatever, and X number of people, and here's a higher thing, and just give us a rough estimate of what that would be so that we can,
I think that's totally possible. I could give a few rough, for different sizes, different scenarios. And then maybe if we can, then agree on one of those that works for, budget and, everything, then we could reach out to and find performers and see what, in terms of the collaborators and everything like that, because then that will affect the prices, the cost of an actual performance.
The overall budget, right? Yeah.
And would you expect there to be a big difference in price between the 1 hour composition and the composition that's more on the order of 10 or 15 minutes?
Yes. I would say, it's tough to
put a monetary.
We don't need to put them on the spot at the moment, but I think if you could drop a couple of scenarios and send it to Ginny or Dawn or something,
okay,
that would be really good.
Just so we have a ballpark of where, we're kind of working on the fundraising component of this whole thing, and
because we'd also probably, I like the idea of approaching the high school or something about that, but then you have to work however many months in advance so that, first of all, that they agree to it, and then that they have the music to practice. So
and of course I would need, depending on the size again, a good amount of time. I mean, for instance, I'm working on a piece right now that's going to end up being about 45 minutes long, and it's for a chorus and string orchestra. So not a full orchestra, just strings. And I've had almost, it's due in December, and I think I started it in February. And I think that's just about the right amount of time that I'm going to finish it on time. So if it was an hour long with, chorus and orchestra, then I would want probably a whole year, at least just for the composing.
And then you have to back that out probably 6 months for the practice and
at least,
putting it together. Right. So this needs to be nailed down fairly soon if it's going to move forward.
Jim, anything from you?
My comment was, the primary thing I was thinking is that we should try and set a scope, but I like the idea of having a couple alternatives to look at. I think if it is drone show, it's definitely got to be an outdoor item. Don't know how that would apply to the performance. There's something pretty cool about a live show and drones, a la a 4th of July type celebration. I don't know if that's feasible per se, but if we had, maybe we think about it in terms of if we were doing an outdoor show, where would it be? Would it have been in, one of the fields around town or whatnot, where you could have the orchestra set up and a little band shell or whatever and have this thing done live? Recorded is okay, but it's not quite the same impact as a real live show, and especially if we have 3 years to put it together. So again, looking at a couple options, but maybe thinking more broadly about pre-recorded drone accompaniment all the way through to full-on performance with a drone finale.
Yeah.
Although the other thing I could say is that maybe these drone shows are been scoped at 10 to 15 minutes because every minute of it's original. If the drone show would have a 2-part, like a verse chorus, maybe that's not how you'd think of it for composition, but in terms of other music, if the drone show had a verse chorus kind of component where it could repeat, it may not be a bad thing to have it be a longer drone show either, budget wise.
So Jim, you're kind of setting the table for you to become the executive producer, or
No, I wasn't doing that. I was providing some informed comment. That's all.
very, very informed. Yeah,
You sound like you might be a musician.
A little, very hobby only.
So Keen, we got a full agenda here tonight. Would you, we meet once a month. We'll be meeting again at some point in September. We'll decide that date later in our meeting. Would you, is a September meeting something that you could come back to us with what you talked about, some different scenarios?
Sure. Yeah. I think I can do that.
I'm sensing that this committee and anyone who hears about you will welcome you with open arms and with this great idea.
Thanks. Yeah. And of course, I think I still know plenty of people, or plenty of people around town still remember me and my family. As
Say hi to your mom.
Yeah. Betsy.
Yeah.
Well, okay, if there's nothing else, any other questions or comments? Then we'll let you go and we'll move on to our next item.
Thanks.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
September.
Wonderful.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Okay, our next item on the agenda is the approval of the meeting minutes, but we're going to jump ahead to the recommendation for our new member, Sandy. So she's here with us in the room. Sandy, good evening and welcome. Feel free to tell us who you are and what you bring to the committee.
So my name is Sandy Pochapin. We've been in Southborough 24 years, with a different name because I don't use my husband's name, on Woodland. And Ryan Donovan from the library had spoken to me about being on this committee, and I wasn't totally sold on it. And then I actually saw something when we were driving through Virginia and West Virginia a couple of weeks ago that made me think it would work for the Tricentennial. So long story short, here I am. My background is as a marketing projects manager / events manager. I have a lot of years with the largest trade show producer in the world, doing the producing of shows. I have spent 7 years with Renewal by Anderson, doing events all over Massachusetts and Southern New Hampshire. I've been at Bose, I've been at Hologic, all in marketing, plus other places. You have my resume anyway. So I have a background in events and marketing. And I was just, for example, listening to Keen, I was thinking an hour piece means a lot of rehearsal.
That's a lot.
It's not very practical, in my opinion. And I am a musician, but I'm not planning to be a musician for this event.
Yeah.
No. So at any rate, what is the date for the Tricentennial?
It's a full year of events.
It's a whole year, so there is no one day.
2027.
Well, the actual incorporation date is July 6, 1727.
Oh, okay, all right.
We're trying to put together a plan that would have at least one event for each of the 12 months. Indoor, outdoor, both,
Mhm.
something like that, year-long celebration.
Okay, thank you. So did I answer enough of, is that enough or do you need more information?
Are you still interested?
Probably.
Well, I think your resume is extremely impressive and your background is well suited for something that's driven by events
Mhm.
and planning events and I think you'd be a wonderful fit.
Oh, thank you.
Patty?
I'm a little hesitant because of the probably.
Oh, because it's probably.
Keep her hit, we'll keep her in the room as long as we can. Andrew?
I think this would be a great group to be part of. I mean, we've got a great group of people here. I enjoy coming to the meetings and working with everyone here, so hope you will join us and you'd be a great addition. I think we're neighbors. We live very close to.
Yeah, you look very familiar
That's
to me,
right.
yeah.
Jim?
I'm very, very pleased to see your interest in this. I hope you join us. I think your background could not be better for something we're trying to do here. It's outstanding. And I've worked with a lot of events planners over the years in my career, and they don't come as strong as you very often. So thank you for your interest. I hope you'll join.
Thank you.
Are the windows on your house?
I have, well, we actually do have, but I work for Renewal by Anderson and we only have one room with renewal.
Okay.
I know
all right,
why.
you're loyal.
And everybody in the office said, why are you putting in our windows? They're too expensive. Go ahead.
They are.
Well, then, maybe we should entertain a motion that the Tricentennial Committee send a letter, which by the way, I have it drafted here, to the select board for their hopeful action tomorrow night to appoint.
Sounds good.
Second short.
So sounds good was the motion?
So moved. So moved.
So moved.
And who seconded it? Okay, let me, Katie anticipated this.
I move we recommend Sandy Pochapin
That's the hard part.
to the Tricentennial Committee, for approval of the select board.
So this would be the letter that I would sign and give to Vanessa. My dear honorable select board. After a successful interview with Sandy Pochapin at our August 26, 2024 meeting, the Tricentennial unanimously voted to appoint Sandy Pochapin to the Tricentennial Committee. We respectfully ask you to do the same, as her background and motivation are in line with our committee. We believe she will be an excellent addition. Respectfully, and then I would sign.
The only thing
Sound good?
I would add to that, and I can fix that tomorrow morning, is that it's term expiration, because Sandy would be filling the term vacated by John Kendall.
Which would expire on June 30th.
Right.
2025. Same for all.
Yeah.
Unless we get it. So, okay, everything good? All in favor, Morris, aye?
Martin's eye.
Ernst Fiore, aye.
Bennington, I.
Lasky, aye.
Stay. Stay here, stay with us tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, see how it goes. Or should we let her go while things are going? Okay, next item on the agenda is the approval of the meeting minutes from July 12th, 2024. I'll entertain a motion for that as written or modified.
I didn't see anything wrong. Do I have a motion to.
Oh, do you have them right there?
I do.
There was one sentence.
Oh.
We forgot to add the line numbers, but we'll do that for next month. So it came from probably Katie.
Yeah, it was
Okay, that's
Katie.
it. I assume maybe Thursday or Friday.
It was just one sentence. It was the last sentence of the paragraph. How to get another percent.
It was sent by Katie Berry it could have been Melanie, but I assume it was.
I have a copy here if you.
Yeah.
you want.
I can't find it. It wasn't a big deal. It was just more of a question than a correction. So. Was a motion made to approve as written?
Yes.
Was it seconded?
Second,
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, Morris, aye?
Martin's eye.
Chris, yeah.
Bennington, I.
Batchkey, aye.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is discussion of the parade logistics. So, after hearing and letting Travis explain to us his experience and also hearing from way back from Brian Stearns, who managed the Hudson Parade. And then our discussions pretty much at every meeting. It seemed like the length of the parade route was a concern. It's only half a mile, the usual parade route. And if we have a huge parade, that's okay, but you need staging areas before and after. So I don't know, I put together this, well, Colleen in the planning office, she knows the software and has rights. So she went in there and created this map. And everyone have this in front of us? So I could be completely wrong, although my research is unlimited, but it's also seems consistent. The parade route, the red line is the proposed parade route, and it's about 1.5, 1.6 miles from the savings bank right there at the corner of Newton Street, where we usually have our start gate. And then it usually ends right at the town hall, right there at the horse trough, at the town common. And that's 0.5 of a mile. Now continuing the parade route down to Parkerville, and then all the way down Parkerville to Nary and Trotter, that gives a huge staging area to have the marchers, the vehicles, the floats, spread out and put their stuff together and leave, and they could easily leave going down Deerfoot and Clifford to Route 9, or back up to Route 30. And if you look, if you can remember, the sidewalks are on both sides of the street from Newton Street to about about the town common, the library. And then the sidewalk is on one side of the street from like Face School down to Parkerville. And then on one side of the street from Parkerville in Maine down to the entrance to Nary. So at no point in the parade route would we have no side. And the roads are wide enough, and with, I guess, the right control, you can have people lined up on both sides, even on sides where there's no There's no sidewalk. And then if you go to the start of the parade, we have all those streets, Upland Road, East Main Street, Winchester, Walker Street, and Newton Street. And they were most recently paved and seemed like they're a little bit wider. But you've got, you could stack up all kinds of vehicles and marchers on those side streets. I think safely taking up one lane and still having the ability to have a vehicle, safety vehicle, continue to use that road if necessary. And then we have, so the green is potential staging areas that's publicly owned. And then the orange are staging areas that for different events around town have been used by others. You know, the medical center up there on Newton Street, that's got a pretty huge parking lot, and the road there is really wide. And it's a short distance down to the corner. And then you've got the Sharp Field at the corner of Main Street and Parkerville. And I've seen probably hundreds of cars parked there for different events at Fay. So that's a potential. And then over here at the beginning, you have at St. Anne's Church, that's been used as the parking lot there, been used for staging. And then when they filmed the movie at the town hall years ago, they actually used down here on Route 9, that big parking lot for the people that were working that movie. And they ran a shuttle bus from that parking lot back and forth to town common. And those are just, you know, 4 areas, but there's others. I mean, there's the Fay School Field, there's the this parking lots up behind the town hall, so on. But I wanted to have us look at this. It's visual. I'm more of a visual person, but to see that it's possible to have a different type of staging area, which would be strings of roads at the beginning, and then a huge staging area, de-staging area at Trotter and Neary. And the use of sidewalks. So you could have, I didn't bring my numbers with me, but it's like 1.6 miles, which I think is around 8,400 feet. And if you give each person 3 feet, it comes out to just under, I think it's around 4,600. Maybe it was, but it was several thousand people standing single file. Would there'd be enough room for them? And then, you know, you could double that if they were slender, or wanted to like 8,500. Yeah. So divide that by 3 feet. So that's 2,800 people, single file. So double, you've got over 5,000 people could watch the parade. And then the same thing for the marchers, the parade participants. If you gave each group, each thing, a vehicle, like a fire truck, pickup truck, those don't take, I use 60 feet. Every participant could have 60 feet. And I think it came out to 140 participants, 140 things could march in the parade, giving each of them 60 feet. And of course,
140?
Yeah, a pickup truck doesn't need 60 feet, but a fire truck, because they're not going to be bumper to bumper, they're going to be close, but there will be gaps in between. But you could have way over 100 participants of things that would march, like a marching band. I mean, the Algonquin marching band probably takes up 60 feet, right?
Don, let me ask a question to clarify. Are you calculating to find out whether we'd have too much volume for the parade route, Or is the question just how long the parade's gonna take? In other words, is the spacing consideration, what you're finding out is bumping into the length of the available route, or is it not related?
I think the answer to that, Jim, is yes. I'm doing this to see what the constraint is. And if you have a big enough staging area, you could have 1,000 vehicles in parades, as long as you had the ability to stack them up at the beginning and destack them at the end.
Right.
And I think what we have been talking about, because of the usual half-mile parade route, you're gonna have to have a short parade. But if we focus a little bit more on the staging areas, then we could have a long duration parade over just 1.5 miles.
John,
My only, sorry.
okay, what's the time of year you were envisioning for the parade again?
Well,
On this
yeah, I was like,
tricentennial
I
date?
was thinking like June, because the
June,
kids are
July.
still in school.
June, okay, yeah.
Yeah, we wouldn't be dealing with snow or anything like that, but I
It's
don't know.
almost a calculation that drives the parking lot size, not the parade route, right?
Yeah, exactly, and I think we were at least I was focused on the parade route. And if you think about it, parade route, it's 1.5 miles. That's not a huge parade route. I mean, Hudson, I think Brian told us that their parade was 3.5 miles long. So the length of the parade, in Southborough doesn't really have to be that long, because we just don't have that many people. But in order to have a long duration parade,
The staging.
the staging would have to be able to handle it. And
When we talked to Westboro about their parade, they had 7 staging areas, I believe. I can look this up. I think it was 7 staging areas, which were essentially the same kind of thing. Streets, parking lots, or whatever, that fed into the main parade route.
similar to what we have here with
Yes,
East
right.
Main Street and all those other little streets that are available to us. And the green here on the beginning staging area doesn't even go the full length of East Main. That's kind of a steep hill coming up from Framingham Road. But there's more potential. And so I think the reason I did this, and then, how fast does a parade go? And we've all been to parades where it seems like the kids have a hard time keeping up, the little kids walking, because it goes too fast. And then there's other times in the parade where it just sits there. Wonder what are they waiting for?
Something's wrong.
Yes. So I don't know what the average speed of a parade is, but it's probably less, more than 2 miles an hour, but less than 3, maybe. So if it takes an hour for the first participant to go from Newton Street to Mary, that's pretty good.
Now, so I have one concern, and this was from Brian, who spoke to us about Hudson.
Yeah.
One thing he mentioned is right here, the turn from
Turn.
Main Street to Parkerville. Those are residential homes on the corners. And if you've got Ted's Towing with a huge flatbed for a float, is it gonna be able to make that turn?
Yeah, Main Street's pretty wide there, and Parkerville is too. But yeah, those are the type of details once we get further into it.
Because I think this is great.
But the way to think of this, I was thinking of it as the parade route and having too many participants or not enough. Thinking of just the parade route. But if we think of combination of the route, how much can that handle? And then the staging areas, that would be, I think, a good beginning to build a parade. Now, public safety might look at this and say, forget about it, bad idea. Or might modify the route. It's not all flat. And but if you look at the rest of the town, there's huge areas. Like if you go down to Route 85, there's a huge area. You got the Woodward School, you got this building, you got the cemetery, then you got like a mile of no houses, nothing, just just a road. And it's,
And no
Okay.
sidewalk.
and yeah, no sidewalk. And of course, you kind of want to be toward the center of, Main Street. Yes. So anyways, I just did this. I don't want to take up much more time. And so I think what I'll probably show this to Travis and Brian. And then, like you just said, Jenny, we start to get down into the details. If there's any showstoppers here, and there's probably lots of opportunities for improvement, like General Henry Knox Road. Those are relatively flat, and there's a lot of staging you could do down there also. So if it's okay with you guys, we'll share this with them and get their feedback. Sounds good.
I mean, Travis also, have you talked to him? Because he's done a lot of parades.
That's what kind of inspired me to do this, was when he was with us
Ooh.
at our last meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I've they're experts, but I figured this would be somewhat of a starting point upon which we could make improvements. Let's start somewhere.
Do we have any parade volunteers?
We're waiting for someone.
We may have another appointment recommendation at your next meeting for a
Okay.
veteran.
Oh,
Yay. Might have some
great experience.
helpful experience.
Okay. Exciting.
If there's nothing else, we'll move on to the next agenda item. Okay, preparation for Heritage Day, Monday, October 14th. Collection of
I think
materials.
we have fundraising up.
That's the next on the
Roman
agenda.
numeral 5.
Oh, okay, I got I
Yeah,
thought
the
this
old
might have been an old one. Okay.
Oh,
Sorry,
Here,
it says.
No, I
fundraising
printed it. I
update.
printed, yeah, fundraising update. Ginny.
Okay. So we had our second meeting, that was attended by almost everybody on the committee. And we discussed sponsorship level names, a corporate sponsor list, how the fundraising committee can identify prospects they might know and will approach, the logistics of what we do when we get a sponsorship, talked about Heritage Day, the brick fundraiser, and the fundraising committee seeking volunteers for Heritage Day. And then we talked about our next meeting dates. We took a pass and we came to agreement on the sponsorship names and levels. Pass those out to you. Thank you.
thank you.
Now, these are the descriptions for the various levels. I do not have the value proposition of what each level is going to get at this point, because we just really wanted to nail down what these levels were and what they meant. The Southborough 300 Elite Circle sponsor.
Jim, do you want me to email this to you?
Oh, thanks.
Jim?
Yes, that would be helpful. Thank you.
Okay.
Sorry about that,
I can
Jim.
do that right now.
Sorry.
Is the most prestigious supporters and leading champions, and it describes exactly what they are setting the standard for excellence in Southborough's Tricentennial celebration. I don't know if you want me to read all these, but we then have the Southborough 300 Pinnacle sponsor, Southborough 300 Founders sponsor, Southborough 300 Community Champion sponsor, Southborough 300 Supporter sponsor, and then Friend of Southborough 300. So we were kind of happy with these names based on, it doesn't. There's enough delineation between them and what they each mean.
So does that mean in order to get a brick? Oh, no, this is.
This
is
not the
donation.
brick.
I'm sorry, yep.
No.
Okay.
This
This
is
is
just,
separate.
these are the different
Yeah.
sponsorship
Right.
levels.
Sponsor pack.
And we talked about trying to get at least 3 at the Elite Circle sponsor level. That's our goal. We talked about what our overall goal is, that we want to communicate with sponsors for our overall tricentennial budget, which is a little more than we had originally talked about. And we have secured a community champion sponsor and a friend of Southborough 30 sponsor. So we're excited about that because, oh, and one thing to mention is that on the high level sponsorships, they can break it down over a period of 3 years and do installments. And that way it's a write-off for them 3 years in a row. So I think that's going to be a lot more appealing in one check. And so we do have a check for a third of the community champion sponsor that can go towards Heritage Day and helping us get some swag.
Yes. Yeah,
Can you say who they are?
Thank you.
Can I say who they are?
Yeah.
Sure. The community champion sponsor is Ginny Martins and Associates. And the friend of Southborough 300 is Kathy Cook. That's very generous. So that's we also planned our next dates because we're gonna have 2 meetings prior to Heritage Day. Heritage Day is a heavy lift. We're gonna have a lot going on. And we'll talk about that when we do, but our goal is to have as many people at the booth being excited as possible so that we can sell a lot of bricks and keep people entertained. And we'll talk about those logistics, but we are meeting, the fundraising committee is meeting on September 9th and October 7th.
So Ginny, are you looking to accept donations at Heritage Day?
Yes.
Or just, okay,
Yeah, so we're trying to sell bricks.
Yep.
We're trying to, I also have something, oh, well, should we go into Heritage Day? I think I'm pretty much done. If anybody has any questions about fundraising.
Yeah, before we move this past this list, first of all, I like it. Second of all, I think it no longer uses the prominent families, right? These are the names of the levels, correct?
Right.
Okay.
Correct. Right, that's
Yeah,
what we were trying to avoid.
Yep, exactly. So that's number one. Number two is you could go down at the bottom of the list and add the brick sponsor level for 300, right? Might as well,
Sure,
right?
can add that.
And the third thing is, well, these write-ups, and I've only skimmed them, they're very evocative and they bring out community spirit and all that good stuff. It might be useful to make a matrix like we had originally tabbed up, that here's the sponsors, here's the benefits, kind of just one page where you can see it all and you can kind of see visually what else you get for moving up a notch or two.
Yes, you had done one when we were originally talking about the draft sponsorship levels, and I have that here. Jim, do you remember doing it?
I do. Absolutely. That's why I brought it up, because I think it helps convey, because if I'm a sponsor and I'm going, am I in for 25 or I'm in for 50? I don't know, right? The words don't tell me enough to decide tangibly, but if I could see I had a table at the dinner and I had a this and that, it might well, move the needle better than just a description.
Yes, our next goal is to get the value proposition put together for
Okay.
what they get at each level.
Good.
And also we are tailoring custom packages for the big donors. We will be doing a very nice, Patty's offered to work on the presentation, but we'll be doing a very professional proposal that'll be about.
Bespoke, as the Brits say, bespoke, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that will be part of the package that we put together. But right now, I think our focus is doing that, but also Heritage Day, because that's our kickoff and that's going to be here before we know it. And we really want to come out of the gate fully dressed and ready to impress.
Sure, that table I'm talking about could be done anytime in the next number of months. I just wanted to make sure we didn't leave these levels in a descriptive only, format.
No, that is clearly, these are just the descriptions, and we've worked on the value proposition, but we haven't. We haven't solidified it, and that will be done, one of the things on our next
Have
meeting.
we reserved a space for a table at Heritage
Yes,
Day? Okay,
two
great.
spaces.
So we got a big tent,
Okay, okay.
and
Wait, can I ask just one
yeah.
second? Jim, I'm not finding that email with what you get for your money. In my history file here, do you think you could just send it around to everybody again so that we?
Sure, I can. I think it was a tab on a spreadsheet where I took and added a tab that kind of blended it out. I'll see if I can find that and break
If
it
you
up.
just send it as an attachment, that would be nice.
So I had done a draft sponsorship
Right.
package, and he took those off. These are not
Updated.
no.
So,
This is very,
so
very
should
draft.
we? I mean, for what you and I were gonna work on first, like, we're working off of your draft. Is that it?
Sort of, but I don't want people to think, because we talked about, like, we were originally going to give away bricks to big donor sponsors, and now we discussed at fundraising that we don't want to do that. We want it to keep it more as families and local.
Corporate.
Yeah, we don't really want that. Because this is gonna be there forever, and
Right.
like, Ginny Martins and Associates is not gonna be there forever.
Where you go?
Not, well, maybe I am, but, but you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, so Martin's family is gonna be more
Right.
important to
More
me,
appropriate.
because, yeah. So, so we have to redo these. So this says that there's certain things that are included, and that was just draft.
Any more on that before she goes on to Heritage Day?
So is that to say that if you donate in one of the higher levels,
I'm sorry?
if you donate at one of the higher levels, you don't get a brick, but you should also just pay for the brick.
You know,
Yeah,
right, nobody gets a break for free.
okay,
It's not gonna be included. We want the brick to be special for
Yeah.
a community
Family.
donation and a
Okay.
family, yeah. We made that sort of change. So if you want, I'm happy to go on to Heritage Day. So put together this just because I wanted to come up with a plan, and I think we do need to put together an event plan. But the goal of Heritage Day is to build excitement, share information about our planned events, our need for ideas, our need for volunteers and involvement. We want to get email addresses to add to our communication database. For example, if we give away a sticker, you have to give us your email address. You don't just get the sticker. We want to launch our fundraising with the sale of bricks for Heritage Park. Many people aren't even going to know what Heritage Park is. And have enough entertainment at the booth, keep the community engaged and interested. So we were gonna have some games. I talked to one of the largest photo booth companies across the nation. Is located in Boston, but the owner is from Southborough.
oh, wow,
And yes, so I talked to him, and he has put aside the date for us. He blocked it off. And we are meeting next week to talk about specifics. Do we want costumes and props that people use, or do we want AI driven, backdrops and so there's all different options. So he's gonna think about what he thinks is best for our booth. And as far as cost, he is giving us a significant discount, but he has to have somebody there 4 hours to man it. So there has to be some type of cost. He said I should probably count on around $700, but we still haven't nailed that out. But we can take some of the proceeds from donations. So I think it's really going to be fun. And then I think it's going to be such a great tool for social media or, marketing, the whole celebration, getting people excited, involved. Obviously, they'll need to sign a waiver that we can use their
Are
photos.
they gonna pay for the photo or is this free?
So that's something to talk about. There are gonna be things at the booth that people can pay for. I was thinking about talking to Yummy Mummy about some cookies. That, people could pay a couple of dollars for or whatever. Tricentennial cookies, I don't know if it always comes on the logo. But, just different things that will be enough for people to want to stop by, want to spend time there, want to find out about what we're doing. We talked about a scavenger hunt. I do have somebody who's going to work on that. And maybe we award small prizes to anyone who gets them all. And it can be just very much around the field. A guessing game, Patty's doing maybe a coloring book and crayons of Southborough, famous landmarks and history of the town, and we can market the planned events for the Tricentennial in the book as well. So we can maybe do, Patty's going to talk about the swag and stuff, but we're just going to need a lot of people. We're going to need people to help set up the booth. We're going to need to know what the setup involves in the booth. We need to know the kind of things that we need for forms for people. We need, so there's a lot to do.
You're looking for us to help. Also.
Well, yeah, I did get a commitment from the fundraising committee I don't know how many are committing to sign up and for how long,
Sure.
but I think we need to know who's going to be there at the booth and what their roles are. And so there's a lot to putting this plan together. So I think that's our priority right now, is making it really a big splash.
I didn't know if I could speak. or
Yes,
not. So, you said the gentleman who's giving us, or sort of selling you the booth, is gonna decide on the props or AI. I think if you have any influence, it's really a children's event. I think props would go better, and I think Revolutionary War props, like the tri-corner hats and things like that,
yeah, that's
would
on
tie
here.
in well. Oh, good, okay. And then the thing, everybody there is selling food, because that's how they get people to come to their booth. So just keep that in mind.
Selling food or?
Yes,
Oh,
no, selling food.
Yeah.
I mean, the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, there's so many groups, even the Friends of the Library have a big bake sale. So there's a lot of food. That's all I'm just.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
The guy that makes the bacon.
Yeah, well, plus there's.
You know the guy I'm
food
talking
trucks.
about?
Yeah, the bacon.
But
That's the
I love the idea of the cookies because of the logo. That's great.
If we can manage that.
We
With
might
a
have
lot
to,
of colors.
we might have to dumb down that logo a little bit for some things. It's okay.
But that's totally okay. And so then I also have a call, I'm meeting or discussing with Tanya Taylor of Skyrise on Friday, what participation we can get from them for.
Can you just explain Skyrise?
Oh, sure.
For anyone watching that may not know.
Oh, that's true. Okay. So Skyrise is a local theater company. The owners, Tanya and her husband, are lifelong residents of Southborough, very involved in the town. Her mom had a Girl Scouts for a long time. And they do usually have a booth. They do musicals and plays for kids of all ages. And they're a great community group to have behind us. And she may have costumes. I don't know what she has for storage or whatever. I know her mom used to make amazing costumes for Southborough players for years and years and years. And so we're going to talk on Friday, and I'll have more information about props. And then I don't know if you know of any places. No,
Unfortunately.
okay.
What are you gonna do about electricity?
That's another thing that we have to talk about. He said he might be able to do the photo booth on battery, but we probably should count on some electricity.
If you can, I don't know how he's set up, if he's got a truck that he can run something from. I don't know.
Is there electricity at Booths of Heritage Day? I don't think so.
Not really.
Not-
Generators running.
There are, I think some sporadic generators.
People's own,
But not, not as part as.
right,
As the booth
Mhm.
setup.
It's
It's
just
not
my memory
guaranteed.
being there,
No.
that generator noise a little bit.
Yeah.
those are
Yeah.
the trucks, the food trucks,
The
and
food
that's what I was
trucks.
thinking, if he parked on the street. And the booth was close, he could maybe run something, that's the only way.
He thought he might be able to do it by battery. I definitely have to work up logistics with him on that, for sure. So there's a lot to it. So, yeah, so we just need to divide and conquer and
Are you gonna have one long table, or is this too early to ask a question like that?
no, I think we're gonna have multiple tables.
Oh,
And we're
okay.
gonna need multiple tables for brick sales, giveaways,
Cookies.
cookie, whatever, and then props, we need space. So I have a 10 by 20 tent.
Mhm.
I think recreation basically said we could have the space we want. I mean, I don't know if the photo
They
booth
did.
needs to be its own tent.
I don't know how big that would be. What kind of space?
Well, it all
would
depends on
require.
if we have props. I also wanted to consider health. People putting props on and stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. about
Yeah,
that.
so that was one thing when I said, do you have props? Because I'm not a fan of props at photo booths. But he said, we can talk about it, because I agree with you, kids love that, and they love dress ups.
But if the AI, I hadn't thought about the health issue, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
It just,
Well, we
You
are
wanna
in
put a
another
hat with
sort
a
of
million.
COVID peak.
There's
So-
an app that my grandkids showed me. And the older of the two is 6. And he shows me, there's an app where you look at it and you can press different things and it'll turn you into like a chicken.
Oh, yeah.
Those are
Snapchat.
filters.
Snapchat,
Yeah.
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 Is that, yeah, okay. So I don't know if that's,
It-
if that's something that the kids are more familiar with.
Well, they are, yeah, and I don't know anything about that photo booth, so I just,
It's kind of like an iPad setup and, but there's somebody running it. And
So they would get a digital copy?
so a digital copy. So we would need emails to send them their digital copy,
Mhm.
right?
and you have a Facebook page or anything?
We do. So the other thing I wanted, it was gonna be for other business that. I have a copy of the social media policy. I have not had time, which is why I haven't really posted, because there's like 7 pages.
Lengthy.
Is there any summary? Is there a
No, but
one-page summary of do's and don'ts?
Let me talk with Jay tomorrow.
Okay, that'd be
I don't
great.
think so, but he might have drafted one since we published that.
Okay, perfect. Because every day I say, okay, I'm gonna read the policy so I can post something and gets to the bottom of the list. But to your question, yes, we do have, and we have Instagram now?
We do.
Okay,
Yeah, because you really want them to take those pictures and post them with a hashtag.
right. And also, so once we post, we can share to our individual stories, so, we're gonna get a lot more people, but again, I don't know what policy is on.
I don't think
Individual
anything
posting.
you would be sharing would violate it.
I don't think so, but
But between Jay and I, if there isn't one, we can create a quick summary.
that'd be awesome. That'd be fantastic. Okay, so does anybody have any questions about Heritage Day? Oh, one more thing. So a local artist, Hetty Healy, this is a horrible picture because my printer was low on ink. But she is a very successful artist. She did move out of town. She raised her kids here. And she lives in North Carolina right now. But she's very involved in Southborough still, and she did a watercolor for us and is framing it and sending it to me. And we were thinking of a silent auction for Heritage Day. This is not in any way, shape, or form what it looks like from the picture she sent me,
Yeah, nice.
because my printer was out of ink, but she said it would retail for $450. You're not gonna get that at the silent auction, but
Well, you're not
You
gonna
never
have
know.
a Heritage Day, I don't think.
No, Heritage, you're not gonna do a silent, maybe at the golf.
Oh, no, this was something to.
Oh, for Heritage or
Yeah, for
fundraising?
Heritage Day. She's getting it over to me right away.
I don't think you're gonna get the value for Heritage Day.
Or we could do, another thing is we could do Chinese raffle. I think that's what it's called, where you buy the raffle tickets and you put them in the bags. Isn't that what you call it?
I don't know if it's called that. I've never heard that racist term.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm kidding you, I'm kidding
Oh
you.
my gosh.
No, I'm kidding.
Sorry.
However, I think
I
it's
think-
not politically correct,
Yeah.
but be that as it may, technically, if you're doing a raffle, you need a permit.
Yeah,
But,
because-
but in
you-
Southborough, the police have not come to the nonprofits and asked them for permits at Heritage.
Right, but
permit.
legally you do need a
Legally, you
permit
need
to
a
do a
permit.
raffle if you're a nonprofit.
And that's something you would get from the town hall.
So
and
can
I
we
don't
get
know how
it?
much that costs.
I'm not sure
What
what's
was that?
involved in that.
It's a very short,
Yeah, it's.
So
not-
when I used to do galas, we would have people going around
Right.
selling tickets, and you'd get like 10 tickets
Yeah.
for $20. And then you put them in the bags of the
Yeah.
things that you want. And
Like I said, they're very lenient. I know that when the Boy Scouts do Kids Day, they don't get a permit and they do it. I mean, it's just a question of if somebody's gonna say something, but if somebody did, then they'd have to go around to all the other booths too and tell them, because everybody's doing something. So I think it's fine, but that's my opinion.
I just, again,
But I
as
think
many
that's a good
options as you
idea.
have.
We could get a basket of something or, from somebody and then the picture. That's a great idea, but I agree that you're not gonna get $450.
No, but she knows that too.
Yeah.
But if somebody. You don't think we should do it on Heritage Day?
I'm concerned about doing it on Heritage Day in order to get a reasonable amount for a nice illustration.
Or we could
And-
post it on Heritage, show it there. As
like a future
future,
event.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, my concern would be about doing a raffle at Heritage Day is we have games, we have scavenger hunt, we have photo booth, we have brick sales.
And cookies.
yeah.
It's a lot.
Think it's too
Yeah,
much.
probably too much, but that's also something we can do at a gala.
But that would be cool to introduce it and say that it's gonna be,
Well, because one of the events we're thinking of maybe having is hosting an art show. And this could be inquire about our upcoming art show. And maybe we get people who say, oh, I want to be involved in that, or I want to donate something to that. So we just display it instead of
display.
display it.
I can see, put it on an easel, display it,
Yeah.
put a little thing on it,
I agree. It's not the right venue for,
But can you reproduce it? Are we allowed to like put it on a sweatshirt or something? Or a bag,
stationery or-
a
well,
book bag or
we're doing
something?
that with the logo.
I understand, but I mean, we can't really see what it looks like because you said it didn't print well, but would it go on a tote bag?
I think for branding, we probably want the
don't think
logo.
you can,
I mean, you'd have your logo on it too.
it would have, I think you'd have a very expensive tote bag.
Okay. 'Cause of the
You've seen the logo,
multi-colors.
haven't you?
What?
No,
Because of
many
the number
colors.
of colors, and
Right.
that's not a vector file, and if you're screen printing something.
Yeah.
To make the screens out
Okay.
of that. I don't think that.
What's next?
Oh, we can make note cards. And
That's
sell
a
note
good
cards.
idea.
I
That's a
love
great
the-
idea.
I love the idea of the note cards.
Yeah, of
Love that.
course, we're all older and we write thank you notes.
Yes. Okay, so does anybody have any questions about Heritage Day?
Where is the tent right now?
The garage.
Okay, where are the tables?
I've got a couple tables that.
I
Give the long
I have-
ones.
Normal
I have a
size.
6-foot table.
Are
Yeah,
they,
you
are
kind
they
of
like the old
6 foot.
cafeteria tables? Is that what they are?
6-foot folding.
Yeah.
Yeah, those
I
are
have
the ones I
6
have.
Yeah. How about chairs?
I have 4 folding chairs that we could use.
I have some. Sure.
So at some point, I'm feeling like we may have to have 2 meetings in September, but we could assign names to items, chairs, table, chairs.
Volunteer times.
That type of thing. So that there's no surprises that morning when we go to set things up and there's no table.
So one of the things I was hoping to do and didn't get to it, but is an event description and plan and logistics.
Logistics need to be assigned to humans. So that it gets done or we know it's late. There'll be no blame because it's gonna work.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty excited about it. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Do we get to pick where we in the field we set up?
Well, I think you'll be next to all the town booths, which is generally, you know, close to Berkeley across from the community house.
Right.
Yeah,
He kind of said, yeah, that's what you wanted.
Yeah. So, you know, police and fire and, you know, probably rec and so forth.
Unless you need the power from a vehicle, in which case we need to be across. Because you need to be near St. Mark's so you can park on the street. But I doubt he's doing that, but if he did, that would be important.
So I don't want to do this just yet, but it's a question. Your meeting on September. Your group,
We're meeting September 9th and October 7th.
so is there any benefit to me for that September 9th, or is there more benefit to me shortly thereafter?
It was us.
Yeah, us.
Yes.
Yes, like 2 weeks, literally.
Yeah,
With what purpose in mind?
I think I'm just asking to see if we think. Well, maybe we should wait till the end here and see when we can meet anyways in September. It's 7 weeks from now is
Right.
Heritage. Okay, I'm all set to move on to something else. Like the bricks, is the bricks next?
So,
All set, move on to the bricks?
Yep.
Patty, you're on.
okay, so I think that hopefully tomorrow night, the select board will be voting to move forward, allow us to move forward with the brick fundraiser. We wrote a letter to the select board. Oh, wow, I brought some pictures.
There they are. I mean, I see something with bricks. You got your hand on it. The back.
No, that's the. I had a picture of a plaza. That's what I'm looking for. Where did you get that?
You sent it to us.
Oh, okay. So we revisited the whole concept of where the bricks would go. And came up with this plan. Of putting them in this straight path, which is currently granite stone dust. Between St. Mark's Street and the entrance to the plaza. I did have a picture here of. With our brick next to it, showing that it almost perfectly matches the color. Which is nice. I have it on my phone. I thought I printed it out.
Like a deep red.
It just goes perfectly. It's the same color. Right here.
Oh, nice.
I just want to make sure that Jim has that as well. Does anyone
That
have an
matches.
image of it?
Yeah,
Like,
it's really close.
Can you just email it? to me?
you know what,
Forward
having
it to my
problem with my
email?
email.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, thank you.
You don't have it yet, Jim?
No, wait, Jim, you were copied on the letter that I sent for this, select board meeting, and there was a picture, oh no, it was just this picture. This picture was part of the letter.
Yeah.
Ah,
not
yes,
this
I've seen
picture.
that. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so the select board is going to vote tomorrow. I've hopefully been assured properly that it's going to be a A-okay. Done deed, and we talked at the fundraising meeting about ordering a couple of bricks that say first line, Southborough, second line, Tricentennial, third line, 1727 to 2027. And we would have these at Heritage Day so that people actually have a
Visual.
yeah, a touchy-feely kind of thing to look at. To order those bricks, it is gonna be $100, because if we order less than 5, they are $50 a piece. Which is, you know, obviously when we're looking at ordering in bulk, it's gonna be much
Sorry.
less.
What's the number you said again, Patty?
What?
The number-
$50 a piece if you
Yeah.
order less than 5.
Yes, so you're gonna order how many?
We're gonna order 2 to have on the table,
All right.
or 1.
Oh, well,
But if
why
you
don't I
order
order mine? Is that,
No, well, it's a breakdown in costs, and we were basing our concept of this on the cost if you order, I think it was 50 or more.
okay,
So when we were, I mean, it's not as big. I mean, you definitely get a discount at, you know, 5 or 20 or whatever, but
it's not significant like it is. It's
No,
only gonna be
like-
like $20 a brick. At,
and that was at like 50 or 100, I
Right.
forget. I think it was. So I think we're probably better off just doing this, you know,
Mhm.
putting it forward and paying the $100 to get it done, so that people have a touchy-feely kind of thing.
do you want it to
Also-
say 2 different things? Do you want like one to say, you know, Southborough Tricentennial, and then one to have a name on it? Like, so people could see the family or the blank family or so-and-so.
Yeah, I don't know whether I wanted to say a specific family, but
Gotta be a Smith
You
family.
could have Smith family, yeah, or something like that.
well, I mean, you basically get 3 lines. So we're gonna have a form. I put together a couple of forms here that, you know, oh, there's my picture. Hopefully to use with the fundraising committee, like purchase order and sponsorship contract. And there will be one to buy a brick. Because you only get a certain number of characters per line, and you get 3 lines. We're gonna choose a font, and we're gonna do them all in the same font. The fundraising committee was leaning toward a serif font, like a Times Roman. I mean, they basically have 1,000 different fonts that we can choose from. And then they're going to set up, essentially, it's a website portal. So if we work it out with, Kathy was gonna set us up with Zelle and with Venmo. And if we have a payment portal, we can then have a website that basically, and this they'll set up for free. We could via social media advertise bricks, promote the bricks, and somebody could click the link, takes them to the form on their page where they fill out the information. It's all branded for us, Tricentennial, blah, blah, blah. And then they would click pay, and it would link to our payment portal of Zelle or Venmo. And then go back to them and we submit. The other ones that, for example, we sell at Heritage Day, and my concept is we're gonna do this, you know, order them in mass groups. We would just have them fill out this form with, you know, their name, information, or whatever. Maybe charge it at that point, so you're not writing down a credit card unless somebody wants to give you a check. But charge it at that point, give them a receipt, and that's gonna have the number of characters. I think it was 20 characters per line that they can actually fill out right there of what they want on the brick. What else?
The sidewalk, the walkway. Has anybody calculated
I
the
did.
maximum number of
I
bricks
did.
that it will take?
It's approximately 320. But that was my rough guesstimate, with Ginny marking it off with her feet and, that kind of thing. So we can actually take a tape measure and come up with something more exact. But I feel that it's going to give us enough space to do the bricks that we want. Per chance, we, are way over and we sell 500 bricks. Then we would, out of the
Yeah,
other
the
side
other
of this
side.
plaza, there's another walkway. And we would start it down that walk,
Working down toward the library.
working down toward that little plaza.
Yeah,
Little
Yes.
plaza.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if we don't sell as many as we hope to, we can always like maybe line.
Yeah,
With
filler.
cobblestones and,
Well, no, we just
You know.
do filler blank bricks.
yeah,
Like the community houses.
Yeah.
Example.
Patty, I think in the memo here, there's one thing we might want to consider editing in the first sentence. Actually, it's in the second line. It says the Tricentennial Committee will sell engraved bricks. I think that should say the Friends
Oh,
of.
friends,
Yeah.
Because
of,
we
you're
we
right.
do not want the town taking in that money,
No, we do not.
because then we have to go through other procurement regulations.
Um,
So just want to clarify that.
You're gonna add two words, friends of.
The Friends of Tricentennial 300. No,
Good
Friends of
catch.
Southborough,
Friends of Southborough.
Tricentennial,
No, just
Southborough
Southborough 300.
300 Inc. Yeah,
Inc.
okay. Okay. I can send that to you.
Yep. And then I'll amend the select board packet tomorrow with that.
Okay.
So,
Any other questions on the bricks?
as. We should vote. To send this to
Sarah.
the, right?
Yes, okay, so as amended. Shall I read the first sentence
No.
to the amendment, so it represents the amendment?
Okay, sure. However you wanna make the motion.
So. I move that we approve a letter to the select board. Regarding brick sales. As written with the amendment of the first sentence to read. As part of the fundraising for the 2027 celebration of Southborough's Tricentennial, the Friends of Southborough Inc. will sell engraved bricks.
Southborough 300.
You're right.
That's what this says.
Sorry, Southborough. 300 Inc. will sell engraved bricks.
You second that one, Andrew?
Yes.
Motion's been made and seconded. Does it need to be signed since we voted on it?
No, we can take it in memo form.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion?
Do we need to indicate the price in this letter?
No, because I don't think that's of issue to the select board.
Okay,
They need to give us their permission to
Put stuff on. the-
put stuff on town property.
good.
How's that, Jim?
Yeah, other than maybe say, we'll seek permission to sell and install.
Price is 300, right? That's easy to remember.
Do you want me to add that amendment?
Well, that's in the second sentence.
It is in the second paragraph.
Okay, all right, then I'll say. Then, no discussion.
Hearing no more, all in favor, Morris, aye?
Martin's eye.
Prince Fury, aye.
Dennington, I.
Glassky, aye.
Okay. Anything else on that, or do we move on to the next item? Which is,
That matters before the committee.
yes,
Do you want to talk about swag for Heritage Day?
Yes.
yes.
Okay. So we were talking stickers, we were talking t-shirts, we were talking bags. The stickers we talked about last time, those are going to be fairly inexpensive. And you were also discussing giving away bags. I think that these bags that you need to do, the environmentally friendly ones, they have to be recyclable, blah, 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 which puts us up, given how many colors we have in our logo. Puts us up at somewhere between $4 and $5 a piece.
A bag?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, they're expensive.
can we do just then like a navy blue and a green or?
Well, I'm kind of wondering, I mean, I could probably revamp this logo, so it's more of a like reverse. Like a white,
Mhm.
and then we print it on a dark blue,
Right,
and then you're just printing white and black, maybe. Um. Yeah. It's a little
Are you-
pricey to be able to just give these,
I thought they would be somewhere around like $1.25 a bag.
not if you,
Not the nice ones. these ones.
yeah, and I just don't think people. I have a problem with doing like the crazy ones that are gonna fall apart, and
Oh.
you know, if you're gonna do it, you should do the recyclable, and
Yeah, and unless you go with very small ones.
no, we went like.
Right, I know you
grocery
did, that's
shopping,
what I'm
and
saying,
it
you
has
have
to
to
have
have
the
the-
gusset, some of them
Yeah.
are like this wide, well, those are worthless, they gotta be like
All
this
Are
wide.
you doing the golf shirts for sale?
Okay, so the next thing was the
That's
shirts.
expensive.
So, again, I'm gonna revisit this logo to dumb it down a little bit for these couple of purposes of printing.
Yeah.
Embroidery is gonna be quite expensive for a
Mhm.
golf shirt. So for example, I was speaking to somebody that with a company in Framingham, because I was thinking if we're gonna, it would be nice to use somebody fairly local.
There's somebody in Southborough. Go ahead.
I'm happy to talk to somebody, but so this is a company that does wholesale too, like other people farm out projects to them. And again, we were talking 6 colors. So if I get it down to 6 colors, he gave me a quote of I think they were about $10 a piece, and this is for a t-shirt.
Is that a child's t-shirt or not?
No.
I think we should all be wearing the t-shirts.
Right,
Anybody in the booth.
As long as we pay for
so
it, of course.
it depends, of course, on the number that you do. So this was based on 144. And
Are they white or gray?
okay, so this is the other thing. I had originally said that, you know, we might be looking at like a light blue or something like that. And I guess printing white on a color is an issue. They actually have to do a double imprint of it.
Mhm.
So he said that is one of the reasons that a lot of these things print on white shirts. Because then also your white is already there as color.
I think this logo on a white shirt would be beautiful.
Okay, so 144 of them printed left chest,
Short sleeve, long sleeve.
short sleeve, and it was a variation of sizes, mostly in the large, you know, some medium, some extra large, a couple of small kind of thing. Is $13.38. So it's a little under $10 a piece. Now, we might be able to, you know, get this cost adjusted a little bit by, you know, talking to other people.
Can I ask what's the quality of the material? You know, is it heavy duty, light duty? 13 seems awfully inexpensive.
No, $10.
Right, but in terms of the weight of the material, is it something that's gonna last for a long time?
You know,
3 years,
I
please.
had the stuff of it here somewhere, but we can get a sample. It's core cotton tee. This one, it looks like it's a 50-50 cotton poly.
Here's
machine
my,
washable.
here's my feedback from seeing some t-shirt being made lately. The cotton poly stuff is, I'm sorry, the cotton poly stuff is what seems a lot of people are putting out. And it's fairly lightweight, it doesn't breathe very well. You know, my personal favorite are things like the beefy tee, the super tee, the really heavy t-shirts when it comes to t-shirts.
Yeah, I'm
expensive.
sure that they have other
That would
you
be
know,
a lot
most
more money.
places have the beefy teas, but again, we're talking cost. So this place in Framingham actually has like a showroom that you can go in and see what their products are, and he can get us, you know, an example of this shirt. So I was assuming that I could do that before the next meeting.
Well, is our
And-
objective, right, but is our objective trying to minimize the cost so we have a low price point or maximize how much we make on them? I mean, do you want these things to be durable and they get to be around for a few years, especially if we introduce them on Heritage Day?
No, I think you want a nice medium of like a reasonable cost and a good quality.
Are you planning to sell them at Heritage Day?
Yes,
Then you really should get some children's, because those are the ones that'll sell the
that's
best.
true. Yeah. And maybe the children's we do on the chest instead of a little pocket thing.
I
Yeah.
like that idea.
So I still have a little bit of work to narrow this down to the number of colors. I gotta rework my vector file a little bit on the number of colors and then get a sample of this. My other concept is we buy a certain amount. So what happens is they're gonna have to create a screen for each one of these colors. So the initial cost is
Setup.
higher because you're paying a setup fee of, I forget what it was, like $50 or something per screen. Then you go and you're gonna reprint it. But 144 is probably a great one, right? But then you're gonna go and reprint it. They don't have to create those screens.
Right.
So your reprint costs per unit are gonna be less. The problem is we are always going to have to anticipate the sizes and the quantities that we want in each of those sizes. Another option could be to set up an online store where it's actually their print on demand. The cost would probably be a little bit higher and we'd have to test out the quality. You can specify the shirt, like we would pick, we want Hanes BPTs and we want only these 3 color options or only white option. And this is where the placement is. And then people go in and order their size, order the color they want, pay, and it gets shipped to them. The advantage to that is that we don't have to stockpile and set
In store.
shirts and store and sell shirts. Because if somebody like on a Wednesday wants a shirt, where are they gonna get it? So if you have an online store or a combination of both, someone can go online and order it. Your profit margin is less because the cost for a print on demand shirt is higher.
That's what we did for the Friends. It was a huge help because
Friends of,
Friends of the Library. I'm so
Friends
sorry.
of the, an online
I
store.
knew what I meant,
Yeah.
but it was much easier. We didn't have to inventory.
Right.
Even for the fudge sale, we have to chase people to get them to pick up their stuff. And it was,
This is delivered.
yes, it's
So
shipped.
that's
The
why
people
I'm
have it
kind of
shipped and
thinking
delivered
a
to them.
combination, although we could do it just really on the virtual store and everybody that needs a shirt for Heritage
Yeah.
Day orders it that way. Or the downside to that is that you know that you got something right in front of somebody, they're gonna lay out the money and buy.
Well,
So you buy some, like the
Well, yeah,
original
you have to buy some to show
144 for
people.
Heritage Day, and then you have the offering with a QR code to.
Yeah, if they don't
online
like the
store.
size, if they say this is too big, I want a small, you give them the QR code.
So then if you run out of the ones that you get, just direct.
yeah, I mean,
Correct.
we had the library staff for them and people were ordering them like, it was very, very successful and we
Yeah,
never
for
done
an
it
online
before.
store, yeah.
But because they saw them on other people, so they wanted them, and we did T-shirts for children. And that was successful too.
So, I think probably the best thing is a combination of both. Because then when we're doing a big event, South for Summer Nights or Heritage Day or something, we have shirts to sell to people that are spot hitters. But there's also a store for online.
Like. the
We just want them
combination.
to kind of look the same and be a similar quality.
I think you sold us on that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I like that
That
idea a
sounds
lot.
good.
And the only reason I said there's somebody in Southborough is because the company we went with that does this, which is not in Southborough, somebody wrote a letter and said, hey, why aren't you using me? I'm local. Whether or not he has the same service, we have no idea. But I
So-
just, so as a result, I know there's.
I
something.
actually went on the Facebook page today and posted for any recommendations
Right.
for local companies. So I'm happy to talk to that person.
Yeah,
if
I
you
mean,
can
I
give me
think
the-
Ryan can get me the information and I can
Yes,
send
that
it.
would be good.
I'm not trying to give you more work.
No, that's fine. I kind of wanted to talk, you know, for the ones that we want to just order, I want to be able to see it and know that it's like a reputable company and it's gonna work. And then we just have to coordinate that with an online store that's gonna do the same quality work. And the only other thing I think we were talking about was a couple other things, potentially mugs. And mugs are the same. I mean, there's like a million different styles that you can do and running prices, cost per unit price of $5 to, you know, up. If you want a really nice mug, like the bistro mugs or something, probably looking at about $8. And then we were talking about doing a handout about the Tricentennial. My thought on that was to set it up as essentially a postcard. You know, a reasonable sized postcard, very easy to hand out. Fairly, really inexpensive to print. And, you know, it'd be easier than a piece of paper and it's like a gold piece.
One other thing that I was thinking. Can we order some bunting or something to decorate the tent?
Oh, sure. So, I have a wholesale account with a company that does banners.
Banners.
So what I was thinking is so you're gonna have 6-foot tables and we could just do a couple of 6-foot banners. If you wanted something else or,
We
you know,
just have some. One thing. I'd have to,
Just red, white,
Well,
blue, or
it would be just like a, yeah.
well, so we could
style.
maybe borrow the town bunting, but get these
But
banners
I
that
think
say
that's
Southwest
a good thing to
Tricentennial.
research, because eventually we really want the high quality. Large bunting, you know, for the town hall.
Or- right, or
As we get
banner.
closer to 2027.
because we're gonna be using this stuff for 3
Constantly.
years.
Yeah.
And at every event that we have, fundraising, whatever, so
Right, so we
Does it-
need something that identifies the table.
exactly, and sometimes when it's up, you can say, oh, there's the booth,
Mhm.
the Tricentennial booth, whereas. Think on the table,
Well, we could,
Or
your
you
tent
can
is
put it in
20
the front
feet.
of the table.
front of the
Yeah.
tables,
Your tent is 20 feet?
Yeah.
We could do a 20-foot banner.
how expensive is that?
Talk amongst yourselves.
I have a question, Patty.
Yeah.
You just said we, right? But it sounds like you're doing all this. Would you like some help?
Of
Because
what?
I think there's someone in the room that's gonna be joining us after tomorrow.
Am I being volunteered?
Yes, you may be voluntold.
Yes, I get that.
Voluntold.
Catholic school.
So Patty, what, I mean, you got a huge plate full. And you got a resource sitting out here.
Sure. Okay, so if we do a 20-foot banner, I don't know whether you really need a 20-foot.
I don't think.
No,
that'd be
10 foot.
good.
10
Let's
foot.
say 10-foot banner.
As long as you can
You can.
attach it.
And how high is the tent?
Must be a 10-foot tent.
So you probably want a 3-foot drop.
Yeah, average banner size.
Yeah,
Yeah.
What's it gonna say?
Talking peanuts. I mean, but
You have a
I
logo on it.
I can't say this out loud because this is my wholesale account.
that's the 10,
Peanuts.
so it's 10 by 20.
So
So
if
instead
you
of
did
10
a
by
10-foot by 3-foot banner
oh, I think that would be fabulous.
and then put bunting on either side of it.
What size
Okay.
bunting?
No, the bunting is like this wide or
It's
something,
like crepe
so
paper.
you put, no, it's fabric, the good one.
Oh, yours is fat. Well, I thought she said the town had.
I had
What do you
bunting
do
that I
with
used for the
these?
4th of July. I used a lot of it.
So if you do the banner in the middle and then do bunting on the 2 sides, that would be nice for the 20 feet.
What will the banner say?
Whatever you want it to say, Dawn. South for a Tricentennial, I don't know.
I think that makes sense. I mean, you
The
know what, it's
logo,
not.
the logo, we
Just
gotta have
big,
the
South for
logo.
a
Yeah.
And then a
Tricentennial,
300 logo?
1727 to 2027,
Yeah,
and the
exactly.
logo. Sure. I can send you a mock-up.
I have a
No.
lot of this bunting.
Is that fabric?
It's fabric.
Like nylon.
Yeah,
It's Nick nylon.
Yeah.
I have
So we could use that.
I have
on the
a
other side of the banner.
ton of it.
Okay.
From the 4th of July.
That's good.
Okay, so I think our committee is allowing you to go for it.
Go for it.
So,
All of the things that you suggested, from the mugs to the cookies, to the brownies, to the bunting, to the, all of that. The t-shirts, setting up the online store.
I wonder if we can do an online store with the mugs as well, because that's
Yeah,
another
you
item
can
you
do
have to
all of that.
inventory.
yeah,
You guys are, well deep into, merchandising and reaching out.
I do need to, I mean, one of the questions I did have is, how we funnel the money to pay for this. And I think I asked that of Karen at the fundraising, but you might have to go to,
So, for example, if I want to spend $700 on a photo booth, I have to get that approval from our committee, correct?
but it's not money coming from the warrant article.
No, it's
So
money
it's
that
money
we
coming
fundraised, so that's why I
through
put my
fundraising.
sponsorship in early, so that money would be available. To
but I
pay
think
for
that
this.
we have to set a limit, like expenditures above XX dollars need to be approved by the committee,
This,
this
Yeah.
committee.
So I think since that's not something we specified on tonight's agenda.
Yeah.
We should save that for the next meeting and we can work on a draft
That's a good idea.
policy in between. meetings.
That's exactly what I was, because I was like, do we vote on it every time you come up with an idea that,
Is
you
the
know,
idea that that way we regulate, try to make the initial money from the friends go as long as possible to prevent, to avoid. So that we're ready to, we've kind of been conservative with the need for the eventual warrant. Money,
Yes,
Yeah.
the goal is to
Yeah.
use money from the friends, but I think that the position of having a process is to make sure that this committee is involved in how the money is spent. And prioritizing and approving.
so
how
we
the
can
money is
propose
spent.
something, that is a dollar limit,
Right,
if it's over
Right.
$500 or over $1,000.
yeah, and we can, find a template from another community that we've
Yeah.
already talked.
Idea.
anything more? Because we're getting close to the end here.
That's my current point.
How about our next meeting date?
Can't be 9/9 or 10/7.
You cannot say.
No, because we have the fundraising committee meeting,
Oh, actually, there's, okay,
but
one other thing I wanted to. Vanessa and I were talking today about our website and, and couldn't find a link. You go to the Tricentennial Town, our website, there's no link that connects us to, giving money to the, 501(c)(3).
No, that's because we needed to get the Zelle and the Venmo set up first.
So, is it set up?
But she hasn't sent me QR codes yet. She's going
she was having a little funkiness, Kathy
Yeah.
was, but I think it'll be done by now.
So could you notify Vanessa? So that she can go to IT and have that link put on there? All right, back to our next meeting. September. Vanessa can't make any of the Wednesdays.
So we have a special town meeting and a few other things going on in
Oh, when
September,
is the
so
special time meeting?
the 30th. So if you did want to meet on a Wednesday or Thursday, I would probably have someone else sitting for me.
Wow, this is coming on.
We can't meet the 2nd because that's Labor Day.
Right.
And we can't meet on Election Day, which is the 3rd.
I mean, can't meet on a Friday. Is the 5th work for anybody?
What's Tuesday, the 10th? Is that a problem?
I can't do the 10th.
For I think it's wise for Andrew and I to avoid Tuesdays in
Tuesdays.
September until we get through the special town meeting.
What about the fifth? Is that too soon?
Or Monday the 9th?
What about the
So
fifth?
that's the Monday, the 9th is a fundraising meeting,
What about the fifth?
the fifth? Thursday. the
I
5th?
might be virtual, but I think that would work.
That week before that whole week is bad for me. Unfortunately. Week of the 2nd.
Oh, we get a second, Jim.
Yeah, week of the 9th is better.
The 12th then?
Sure, it should be fine.
I have some Vanessa on my calendar. Do we still have a select board meeting joined with the school committee on the 11th?
I think that's on the 11th.
Yeah, okay, so we can't do the 11th.
But the 12th.
It's 12.
The 12th could work.
So I'll look for someone else to manage Zoom for you that night.
You know,
No,
that might change.
unlikely at this point. I have a state conference that Thursday and Friday.
What about Monday the 16th?
Do that?
That works.
Yep,
Do that.
How's
Yeah.
that work for you, Jim?
that works, yeah, 16th.
Andy?
Okay, so we'll
So
go
the
with
16th.
16th. Sure. And this room is available that night,
It all falls into place.
so I'll put that right.
And you can put the Tricentennial logistics on that
Mm-hmm.
agenda.
Do you want to talk about a second date? Or wait and see how much you get done on the 16th?
I'm gone from the 20th to October 3rd.
From,
So maybe the week before the 14th would be
So the
kind of a loose ends meeting.
yeah, fundraising
So the
meeting on the
7th?
7th. So I can do the 8th or 10th.
Well, he's not gonna want it Tuesday, right? So are we looking at the October 9th? Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's okay with me. Jim?
October 9.
October 9th.
I can make that work, yeah.
That's Wednesday.
Right. Mondays are always better, but I can make it work that week.
Okay, so we're committed to September
16th?
16th, a Monday. And we're penciled in for October 9th, a Wednesday. Any more business before our committee tonight?
Move that we adjourn?
Second?
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, Morris, aye?
Martin's eye.
Denny tonight?
Blaschke, aye.
Great night. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks, guys. Good to see you.
Bye.